and Cody Fry, all with the Utah Symphony. July 5th through August 9th in Park City. Tickets are on sale now at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, we do have traffic starting to fill in just a bit on the I-15 corridor in Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties. Still not enough traffic to slow anybody down, but this is going to change as we get to about the noon or 1 o'clock hour. You'll start seeing some pretty congested roadways anywhere you're trying to get to. But right now, if you want to get out and about, I'd advise doing it now on any of the roads. Don't miss the Bedrock Quartz bonus cash event. Get 8% same as cash allowance or 12 months 0% financing on any purchase over $3,000, including countertops, sinks, and more. Visit bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's a beautiful Friday morning, but we'll start to see some clouds later in the day, light winds and a chance of overnight showers. Tomorrow, a good chance of rain. Right now, it's 53 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, it's Andy Farnsworth with a reminder about the new KSL movie show. Listen right after Dave and Dujanovic from me and Steve Sales. We'll tell you about the week's biggest movies starting at 11 on KSL News Radio.
It's finally Friday, and this is Dave and Dujanovic. Conversation and insights on the stories Utahns care about most. It's Friday on KSL News Radio.
And it is the unofficial launch of summer. Happy Memorial Day weekend, Dave.
Yeah, congratulations. It is the unofficial launch to summer.
I'm super excited.
I
You've
love
got
it.
big weekend plans. I don't have anything going on that's super exciting, but I have put together a list of staycation options for folks who decided not to hit the road like you and your family.
Yeah, we're going to Southern Utah, a little senior trip for the friends and the graduating kids. So it's going to be a ton of fun. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
I want to talk about the new numbers that are out with regards to home sale prices. Cost of a home in Utah by 2030. Are you sitting down over there?
Sitting down.
1.1 mil.
Oh, in 6 years?
1.1 million. I have no words. I've got words. I hope salaries go up by more than 3% a year. Because, y'all, your house payment will be about $6K a month with that price tag.
That is such a staggering number that just seems impossible. But if you look at the last 6 years, from 2018 to now, house prices have doubled. So you're telling me the exact same thing's going to happen by 2030?
Countdown. 2.
It's so crazy that this is also one of our stories. On the heels of the $1.1 million price tag on a home, there's a new report that questions whether a college degree is worth it. I think a lot of Americans are wondering whether it's worth the cost because they're having to go into debt for it, and then they're not making the income that they were hoping for. And if that's your point of view, you're in luck because more and more major companies are ditching college degree requirements. And I pulled a list, Dave. The top of the list are 8 major companies like General Motors, Google, Home Depot. There's many, many more, including one that you shop at all the time. They just made an announcement. College degrees won't be required.
And I think colleges are in panic mode right now because so many Americans feel this way. They're starting to make massive concessions. In fact, what some schools are doing is not saying it's a 4-year degree. They're saying it's a bachelor's degree in 3 years. I'll tell you how they have figured out how to do it in 25% less time.
Launch. Countdown. 1.
If you're hitting the road for the Memorial Day weekend, pack your patience because y'all apparently are going to Vegas. Sin City, the most booked spot in America for Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to start with a bird's eye view of the roads. But my goodness, Vegas? Yeah, don't come back broke.
I don't know what I was thinking Like, I don't know what we were thinking about doing a senior trip southbound on I-15. Like, this is insane, but we're doing it. 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. We're driving. I want to know, am I just going to be like 25 miles an hour all the way to St. George?
Dave and Dujanovic.
The launch.
Commence.
Well, Memorial Day weekend is finally here, and the good news for you, if you're leaving at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's not the worst time to travel. In fact, today is going to be some of the worst time to travel between noon and 7 o'clock, Dave. But Vegas is at the top spot. I mean, there's Los Angeles, San Francisco, Honolulu, and then number one is Vegas. They do this based on all of the bookings for the last year, and Vegas is Sin City is number one.
Yeah, it's a little party town. The weather's nice. It's a good time to go down south. All right, so I think we have Heather Kelly in the traffic center.
Correct. Heather, I remember a few years ago we were heading with the family to Vegas, and there was a big old traffic accident ahead, and we all stayed parked on the freeway on I-15 for hours. So hopefully we don't see anything that crazy this weekend. What do you know?
Well, the good news is that UDOT is suspending all their construction projects. Now, that doesn't mean there won't still be lane restrictions that are already in place, but they aren't going to be doing additional lane restrictions anywhere that you're trying to get to this weekend across the Wasatch Front. But yeah, unless there's an accident, you're going to have to add a good 20 to 30 minutes to your drive, especially southbound I-15 in the Salt Lake Valley. But overall, you actually shouldn't have too bad of drive. I remember what you were talking about, those delays. It was 25 miles of stopped traffic starting in the Salt Lake Valley all the way down past Spanish Fork. That was awful.
Well, and then we've been caught before in the Virgin River Gorge. I mean, the gorge is gorgeous when you're flying through it at 60 or 70 miles an hour, but it was crazy. We got stuck in a traffic jam there. I know when people head to Vegas and back over busy travel weekends, you just have to also pack a pound of patience, but also I bring extra snacks and water, Heather.
Oh, definitely. You always want to have water at a bare minimum, but food snacks are also really good to have on hand.
And plenty of gas.
Yes.
Plenty of gas. We made a bad choice by not gassing up in St. George, and so then you just sit there and worry the whole time that you're going to have to siphon somebody else's gas tank. How are things looking out there right now? And I would never do that, of course. I would never do that. But how are things looking out there right now?
Oh, they're great right now. If you can get out the door before 12 noon today, I would say do it at all costs. If you can't, however, and you still want to get to where you're going in the daylight hours, if you have several hours to travel, then I would say just allow that extra 30 minutes minimum to get to where you're going. And other than that, you're going to want to wait until after 7 o'clock tonight, after all the people who maybe aren't going out of town are still having to get home from work. So you're going to have the holiday travelers and the regular commuters getting home from work. That's why it's so congested between 2 and 7 on a holiday weekend.
So Saturday, 2 to 5 bad times. Selfishly, let me ask you about our 8 a.m. Departure time. Is that a good time or terrible as well?
That is a great time. You will probably see 5 other cars on the roadway at that time.
That's great news. That's great news. Heather Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. And I love that little nugget of information she gave us, saying that UDOT has taken into account that there is going to be massive travel this weekend, so they've suspended any lane closures or additional construction.
So Saturday from 2 to 5, be super busy, so you're going to miss that tomorrow. Sunday and Monday from 3 to 7, some of the worst times to travel. And then again today, as Heather just pointed out, from noon to 7. But I am so excited about this Memorial Day weekend. There's so much going on. If you're not going out of town, like I am just staying put. My daughter and I have made a pact that we're just going to stay put. But there's plenty of fun things to do that are free or low cost. So I put together a list. We're going to go over that list next, Dave. I'm really kind of looking forward to some of these events that are happening along the Wasatch Front. And I also want to take live phone calls. What are you doing this Memorial Day weekend? Let's get in the spirit. It is summer, or it's the unofficial kickoff to summer. 801-575-TALK. Let's take your live calls. Hands-free, of course. If you're already on the road, you get bonus points. If you're on I-15, heading to Vegas, and give us a call. 801-575-TALK.
Finally Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic. Every college student needs skills for life, like critical thinking, collaboration, camping, protesting.
Hi, guys, we got the message. It'd be too bad if we didn't have a demonstration, wouldn't it be?
Mitt Romney pushes through a speech as campuses around the country manage division and strife.
Meantime, more college presidents were called before Congress today to testify about anti-Semitism.
Stay tuned for the latest.
We would ask that you now allow the ceremony to proceed.
From KSL News Radio.
One of the things I've loved with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, it's a program I joined several months ago, is they held my hand during the entire process. Every single day, I had contact with them. They would send me emails and videos and the why and the how to lose up to a pound of fat every single day. And for 2 months, I was incredibly focused and motivated, and I lost 57 pounds in 60 days, which is incredible. And because the results were so great, it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. I'd built up in my mind that this was going to be so difficult. I wasn't obsessing about it all day, every day, and the results were great. So if you're interested in losing stubborn weight, give Salt Lake City Fat Loss a try. They do it without surgery, without injections. All you have to do to schedule a free consultation is go to their website, slcfatloss.com. You can ask them your questions. They can walk you through, the basics of the program. But go ahead, join it now, slcfatloss.com.
Everyone knows Memorial Day is the best time of year to buy a Bullfrog Spa. Right now, get up to $5,000 off MSRP on a new hot tub or swim spa. With our patented jetpack therapy system, the whole family can enjoy their own personalized massage. Take advantage of this opportunity to unwind, reconnect, and relax in a beautiful Bullfrog Spa from your nearby Bullfrog Spas factory store. And get a free water care system upgrade at the Bullfrog Spas Memorial Day sale.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's ultimate speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
My name is J.R. Bird. As mayor of Roosevelt, I increased transparency, led the charge to pass term limits, and kept taxes low. As your congressman, I will leverage my experience in the energy sector to champion energy independence and dominance. I'm determined to defend the unborn, secure our borders, uphold our Second Amendment rights, and bring the same level of transparency that we've upheld locally. I hope to earn your support.
Paid for by Bird for Congress.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink & McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. You may have heard that mortgage rates have come down over the last several months. While they are still higher than a few years ago, the change has brought some opportunities. Some simple math can help determine whether a refinance will be beneficial to you even with a higher rate than you currently have. This can happen when you knock off enough other high-interest debt to lower your overall payments. We can go over this with you to see if it makes sense for your situation. We are currently saving many clients several $100s per month in payments using this strategy. And if you refinance using an FHA or VA loan, you will be eligible for a streamlined refinance when rates come down further. That's a win-win. Call us today to see if this would benefit you. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com. NMLS 289115.
Thriller is back. See your favorite characters in the smash hit Halloween performance this fall. Buy now, scare later. Tickets to Thriller on sale now at odysseydance.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, the cost of utilities could be going up in Logan. The City Council is considering increasing rates 2% and a per-meter service charge of up to $1.50 each month. Second, Park City's tourism leaders are saying they're expecting a decrease of reservations throughout the summer. And third, if you're heading to Zion National Park this weekend, don't drink stream water. Rangers are monitoring a toxic algae bloom in the Virgin River. Right now it's 53 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
Right, you just heard Amanda giving that warning about the algae bloom in the Virgin River. So, yeah, don't drink stream water if you're going to be out hiking this weekend. Lots of people hitting the road for Memorial Day weekend. But if you're not, I've got a list of free and like low-cost things to do along the Wasatch Front. You guys are hitting the road tomorrow.
Yeah, we're heading down south, doing a little trip for the graduating senior with his friends. So it'll be a lot of fun. But, again, when you're talking about kids, they aren't very well off. They're broke. So I love all the stuff you have lined up here because, yeah, we're looking for fun stuff that maybe doesn't break the bank.
Yeah, and you're not, sitting around bored all weekend. Let's get out and have some fun. We've earned it. We spent a few years in lockdown, and now it's time to get out there and start having some fun. What are you doing for fun? 801-575-TALK. You get bonus points for calling us hands-free if you're on the road to the top spot to go for Memorial Day weekend, like you do, Sin City, Las Vegas. I was shocked that was the top spot, but apparently folks have been booking up Vegas trips for the last year. And that's based on all the bookings from the last year. It's like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Vegas. So, Alex from Bountiful, are you staying home this weekend or are you hitting the road?
I'm just keeping it chill at home this weekend. Probably I have some new golf clubs coming, so probably going to hit up a couple rounds of golf. Just have a barbecue with my family and,
nice.
Just keep it chill. Don't want to get stuck in traffic. So,
what course are you on? What course do you like?
Bountiful Ridge up here in Bountiful is a really good one. Also Eaglewood Golf Course. There's a couple in the area that I'll probably try and hit a few rounds at this weekend. So,
super
fun.
I
know those rounds can add up sometimes, but it definitely doesn't compare to Pebble Beach, which is $300 a round. So,
So true. Bountiful Ridge, a close second to Pebble Beach. I love that golf course. Played in a league there for a summer, and it was a lot of fun. So, if you're planning on camping this weekend, by the way, thanks for your call, Alex. Have fun with those new golf clubs. That's awesome. If you're thinking, I'm going to get out of town and go camping. I've got some good news, but I've also got some bad news. We talked to Devin Chavez with State Parks just a couple of days ago when we were out live at Utah Lake with the Utah Division of Outdoor Rec, Dave. Here's what he said about campsite availability.
Visitation across all of our statewide has actually been booming every year, and this one is no exception. Everywhere from Schofield to Sand Hollow all the way up to Jordanelle is just packed. Even smaller parks like Millsite and the smaller areas like that are just going up.
Did he say Millsite? I've never heard of that. Yeah, there's a lot of campgrounds out there. Yeah. And Debbie, as you know, my days of sleeping on the ground are over. I like the cabins, the yurts, the glamping. That's what I'm most interested in. And they have those on the state website as well. They'll ask you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for big baby Dave kind of camping, or the rugged throw a tarp out kind of stuff that Debbie likes?
So I went under the stars. So I went digging around for you in case you decided to maybe do a night of camping before you hit the road for St. George. It's tricky right now, so that's the bad news. The bad news is the next couple of nights are pretty well booked out. I think Devin said something about Antelope Island. If you're going there, be careful of all the bugs.
Like big bug breeding season.
The good news is, if you just wanted to do a one-night camping trip, is that weird to say Sunday to Monday you want to go camping? I think it's kind of cool to just do a one-night camping trip. We did that a lot when the kids were little because it was very manageable and it still got them like into the adventure zone. Sunday to Monday. There are, it looks like, several sites available Sunday to Monday. So lots of folks heading back, it looks like, on Sunday, probably to beat the traffic. The Monday traffic, a lot of people head back from their weekend trips on Memorial Day weekend early. Let's talk about other options. Go ahead, Dave. You're raising your hand.
No, I just want to ask you, when you did the overnight camping, because sometimes when I think about camping, I'm like, is it even worth it to go overnight?
I know.
Because you're packing everything up. Would you pack up your food, or was it like, we're going to drop by, we're going to feed you for dinner, we'll do overnight, and then we'll have breakfast in the morning somewhere else where you're not having to pack all the cooking equipment?
So here's what you do, because you got to make it legit. You can't do like a pizza on the way there. That's cheating. You got to just do roasted hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you bring the hot dogs. You could do just, whatever you can do to make it seem like a total legit, especially when your kids are younger. It's so fun for them. And you got to do the roasted marshmallows and the s'mores if you can do those as well, if they're not too messy. But you got to do all that. And that's what we do. We just load our kids up with hot dogs and s'mores, and they loved it. They love it. And
that you can pack. That's easy.
And the next morning, you got to make porridge. You got to.
What in the world is porridge? Like oatmeal? I think we call it oatmeal these days, Deb. Jeez, 1980s.
No, that's like 1880s. Make porridge. I don't know. We used to do it. They thought that was the coolest thing ever. And it was super cheap because you're camping out basically under the stars on rocks. It's so comfortable. Mom and Dad don't sleep all night. I mean, truly, you don't. It's phenomenal.
You're really selling it here,
Go
Deb.
do it.
No. You can go camping with your hot dogs and porridge.
If you're sticking around home and you need a little staycation fun, you're in luck. Because the Hello Kitty Cafe truck is pulling into Fashion Place Mall tomorrow. Come on. Every child under the age of 5 will want to be at the Hello Kitty Cafe truck. They're selling merch. You can get some snacks. Go do it. Go have some fun. Sundance. This is so fun. Full moon lift ride on Saturday, which is tomorrow. $37 for the tickets. I think it's about a 45-minute or an hour-long ride. I got to hope for no clouds, I think.
Oh, that would ruin it in a hurry, wouldn't it? Now I'm looking like, see how
$37. I just think it's so fun when we've got all these different events going on all over the place that we can go do and just have a staycation, maybe spend a little bit of money, but not a lot. Brigham City is doing an arts festival this weekend, so you can head up there. Moab, it's going to be a day trip. I don't know if there's any, maybe you can camp. I don't know. Maybe you can car camp in Moab. There's a free arts festival in Moab this weekend. There's a Wild Wild West train days on the Heber Valley Railroad. Tickets are $5 for kids and actually $15, I think, for adults. I just looked this morning. Lots of tickets available there.
Is that the old Heber Creeper?
Yeah. Have you done that?
Yeah.
And what do you think?
It's fun.
It's going on all weekend.
Oh, it's great. It's for only what, $5-10?
Yeah, it's cheap. Something fun to do. And again, making memories. There's your Instagram moment for your Memorial Day weekend. The Classic Sheepdog Championship and Festival Friday.
I did that a couple of years ago.
Oh, it goes on till Monday. So what was that like?
I tell you, you've never seen a faster animal in your life than a dog. That sheepdog sprinting up and herding those sheep. They are. Can you call a dog an athlete? Like, these are incredible athletes.
That's at Soldier Hollow. That's also an awesome place to go. It's a great drive. Soldier Hollow is so beautiful. And then we've got a ton of Memorial Day events, which is so important. That's the true meaning of the holiday or the weekend. Harriman's doing a breakfast. I think it's a few bucks out there. There's a car show and a tribute in West Jordan. They've got an event going on in Draper. They've got one going on in K-Town, which is your hometown, Kaysville.
That's always a fun part of it. You see some of the most beautiful, old school, spruced up, classic cars driving all over the place. That has always been a fun thing for Memorial Day.
So as we go to break, let's get the weather from Matt Johnson. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about a major announcement regarding the NCAA and actually paying athletes with a paycheck. Paying college athletes with a paycheck. But first, let's get the weather update from Matt.
Really, the only day in question is Saturday. We do have thunderstorms in the forecast there. I think the morning it'll be a little more of a steady rain, and then afternoon it's scattered and broken up, but still thunderstorms.
Where is that?
That will be northern and central Utah, including southern Idaho. And if you're in the mountains of southern Utah, you might see a pop-up storm that day. But all the other days are good, clear, and high-pressure building.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour is our top national story. We are following stories both locally and nationally. We'll take just a quick break and be back with the latest news here on KSL News Radio.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, and Dee and I had a brand new experience. I've seen some world premieres of movies before, but never an on-stage production. And at Hale Center Theater, my friend Michael D. Fox has a brand new wonderful play called The Time Machine. He has woven just a wonderful, fanciful, fantastic program around the H.G. Wells classic, The Time Machine. What I really enjoyed here is that he respects the integrity of the original story, but adds a framework that expands and even enriches the experience on the stage. It's The Time Machine, and it's showing right now through July 20th. And by the way, this is not a musical, but as you enjoy the score of The Time Machine, I want you to remember it comes from the talented mind of Cameron, who's 15 years old and a great member of the Hale Center troupe and family. It's time to get your tickets right now to The Time Machine. And all you have to do is go to hct.org.
Let's get those top stories now. With the power of over 200 student volunteers, every veteran's grave at Larkin Sunset Gardens Cemetery had an American flag. Mortuary manager Rob Larkin feeds them every year and sees the lessons they learn from the experience.
And it gives them maybe their first inkling on how important it is to be respectful to our veterans.
By the time the sun set last night in Sandy, 3,000 American flags were planted. We also have a reminder for anyone heading to Zion National Park this holiday weekend. Don't drink the stream water. Rangers are monitoring a toxic algae bloom in the Virgin River. They urge people to bring in their own water or use filtration systems if they're getting water from a stream. This Memorial Day weekend could be the busiest for travelers in nearly 20 years, both on the roads and at the airport. Passengers arrived at the TSA security checkpoint in waves this morning. KSL News Radio got some of their reactions.
There are a lot of people coming in. I saw on the freeway there's lots of people traveling early 6 a.m. this morning. So
I actually thought it would be busier coming in, but it's not yet. But I'm not to the main point yet.
AAA predicts 4 million people will fly this weekend and 38 million will hit the road. UDOT says to expect driving slowdowns of 25 minutes on I-15 southbound in Salt Lake County and 10 minutes in Davis and Weber counties this afternoon. Your money at this moment, the Dow is up 135. We're at 39,199. Coming up, sunny this morning, but we'll get some clouds later today and rain tomorrow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:34.
Hello, I'm Case Lawrence, and I'm running for Congress. Our skyrocketing national debt is the greatest risk to the American dream. We can fix America's debt crisis, but not with politicians who are more worried about their next election than America's next generation. I'm not a politician. I'm a problem solver. I hope you'll join me. I'm Case Lawrence, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Case for Congress.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule it. 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Norwegian Cruise Line's Memorial Day sale is back. Book today and get 70% off second guest on vacations to incredible destinations like Europe, Alaska, and Hawaii. Wake up in a new destination nearly every day and enjoy free unlimited open bar, specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. This offer ends May 31st. Norwegian Cruise Line. Ships registry the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
The rest of my life gonna start today.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Dino Days. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. And here's Heather Kelly.
We are still delay-free all across the Wasatch Front, at least on the major freeways right now. So if you're hopping onto I-15, you're going to be great northbound or southbound from Spanish Fork all the way up toward the Idaho border. We are getting a bit of traffic congestion on some of the city streets in South Jordan, West Jordan. We've had a bit of congestion all morning long in Ogden near the D Event Center where they've got some high school graduations happening. But overall, you've got a good drive. S&S Roofing is your trusted source for quality and affordability. They have been the top roofing company in Utah for over 40 years. Schedule an estimate now. Get a free quote at snsroofing.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We have a beautiful Friday morning right now. It'll get cloudy later today and some winds will pick up. Our high today will be 71. Tomorrow, rain and 68. Right now it's 53 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
College athletes are set to be paid like they're an employee of the college. And this new massive settlement with the NCAA, Dave, will mean big changes here in Utah, particularly for the University of Utah.
Yeah, University of Utah and BYU are part of these big conferences now, the Big Five, that are directly affected. And this is a complete and total sea change when it comes to amateur athletics, this quote-unquote amateur athletics. There were two components to this. There's been a settlement. So a lot of different lawsuits are happening, kind of suing colleges and the NCAA. This is supposed to clear up some of that, the legal mess that we've been in for years. And ultimately what they decided is colleges are going to be able to pay athletes directly.
Like they're an employee?
Like an employee.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my understanding. And then also there's going to be a little bit of a back pay, $3 billion nearly.
Going back several
former
years.
Athletes. Yeah, going back to, I think, 2016.
So former athletes who've since moved on could see a payment. But we don't know what those payments are going to look like. We don't know what those paychecks are going to look like. And for so many years, colleges kind of were in the driver's seat with this. You know, when you think about it, it was all based on scholarships. You know, they would go out and recruit athletes to come to their college, and maybe they'd give them a partial scholarship or maybe a full ride scholarship. Some of them, they did tuition waivers and they didn't pay for housing. So what happens to scholarships now if instead athletes are negotiating pay?
That's a great question. Michelle Bodkin joins us right now from KSL Sports, covers the University of Utah, who, upon my reading on this, Michelle, looks like they will be directly affected. What do you know?
Yeah, this is a very interesting thing that's kind of come down the pipeline. It feels like very rapidly, actually. But it essentially was from my understanding, a pursuit of not having to file bankruptcy. We're talking about the NCAA. It was either we fight this in court and probably lose, and the settlement then is we file for bankruptcy because it's more money than we have to divvy out, or we do a settlement now that's less than and just agree that moving forward we're willing to pay athletes like their employees. And so they took the lesser of two evils. But now, I think we've opened up a whole bunch of other questions that need answering. And that's just it we've taken a step forward that these student athletes are going to be essentially paid like employees of the universities. But what are the trickle-down effects? What are the laws of consequence or unintended laws of consequence, that comes from this latest ruling? And it's one of probably many that are going to ultimately start happening. And yes, it will affect Utah. It will affect BYU. And even though they're not in a power conference, there's potential that, it starts affecting some of our smaller schools like Utah State and Weber State. It's probably going to draw a line in the sand as far as, the power structures and can some of these schools, continue to maintain and get some of the best athletes. It's just a lot of questions left to answer and a lot of questions that have been brought forth with this latest ruling.
One of the questions that I did not get answered was who is going to be eligible? How are they going to divvy up this money? Because I think if there's a bunch of athletes right now cheering and looking at this $3 billion settlement thinking, oh, it's going to be payday, for the girls softball team, we don't know if this is going to be evenly distributed or if it's going to be weighted, if it's just all going to go to football and basketball because they're the biggest revenue generators. Do you know anything about how this money is going to be distributed?
That is one of the biggest questions is what happens to the non-revenue generating sports. And as of right now, my understanding of this initial ruling is that the majority of that money is going to end up going to football and basketball. Maybe looking at like the University of Utah, perhaps like gymnastics and women's basketball gets a cut of that as well. But a lot of schools, that may not be a reality for them. And so, how does that work with Title IX? How does that work with, again, some of these non-generating or non-revenue generating sports? Do you just say, okay, well, you get the scholarship and congratulations, good for you, rah, rah, let's go. But we're not paying you like employees. Do they get relegated to being club sports moving forward? And therefore there's no scholarships because the money has to go to the sports that are generating revenue. These are all questions that now have to be answered, and I don't think there is an answer to them right at this moment.
We're talking with Michelle Bodkin live. She's with KSL Sports. She covers the University of Utah. She's you're an expert on all things sports. Michelle, we wanted to have you in on the show today because I feel like this is such a major, as Dave put it, sea change in how things are going to be done going forward. And, high school athletes that are looking for scholarships, well, they may end up instead getting a paycheck for playing. Is that how you're seeing this, Michelle? That could happen?
I think that's another question to be answered is if these student athletes, talking about football players, basketball players, end up essentially being employees of the university, well, do they really need a scholarship anymore? That's another question that has to be answered. And as we know, university employees get like a tuition break. So does that apply to them now to where they don't need the scholarship on top of getting, a paycheck essentially for being there? This is just so fascinating. And I think there's a lot of, laws of unintended consequences to sort through and work through, as we go through this. And there's another interesting hitch in all of this is that the NCAA has come out and said that they don't want these student athletes to be considered employees of the university. So they're still trying to put rules in place where the schools pay them, but they're still student athletes. They're not employees.
Like they're 1099 employees? Like they're contracted or something?
Yeah, I guess that's how that would work. You know, it's very, very fascinating. I don't know how realistic that is on the NCAA's part. I think you're either all in or you're all out, and you can't straddle that line. So
they're trying, though. They're trying to straddle that line, no question.
They're trying to. Well, because if they don't, then they lose their power, right?
Yeah.
So, and they still want their power. They still want to be able to dictate and tell people what they're going to do and be the enforcers. But I think they've maybe opened up a can of worms that they become irrelevant. I don't know how that's all going to work for them.
It is going to be a massive change. Michelle Bodkin, thank you for joining us from KSL Sports, covers the Utes.
When she said that it was like one of the deals that the NCAA has to settle this or they face bankruptcy. Oh my goodness. This is a massive, and you put it well, sea change in how things are done. Once again, I mean, it seems like college athletes are winning and winning and winning. At first, it was the NIL, name, image, and likeness deals that they can sign with Nike and get sponsorships or sign with McDonald's and get money out of that. Now it's paychecks. Let's take live phone calls straight ahead. In favor of paychecks for the athletes, or you want to keep it old school and stick with the scholarship method? Weigh in on this massive settlement involving the NCAA and college athletes. 801-575-TALK. We'll take your live calls next.
It's finally Friday with Dave and Dujanovic.
Hi, Doug Wright here with one more little experiment you can do at home. In a pan of water, all you have to do is stir in limestone, calcium, magnesium particles, and then heat that whole mess up on the stove. And you know what, on second thought, not such a good idea, because limestone, calcium, and magnesium particles heated in water will clump and stick to your pan like concrete, which incidentally is exactly what's going on inside your water heater. Think about it, limestone, calcium, magnesium, that's what makes hard water hard. And trust me on this, if you live in northern Utah, your home has hard water. So call Connecticut of Utah. I'll give you the number in a moment. They'll test your water's hardness for free, and they'll show you the patented design features that make Connecticut water softeners work better than any other. Connecticut of Utah, an authorized Connecticut dealer. To learn more, call Connecticut. It's 801-576-8600 or log on to softwaterutah.com and call now while it's on your mind.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
Everyone knows Memorial Day is the best time of year to buy a Bullfrog spa. Right now, get up to $5,000 off MSRP on a new hot tub or swim spa. With our patented jetpack therapy system, the whole family can enjoy their own personalized massage. Take advantage of this opportunity to unwind, reconnect, and relax in a beautiful Bullfrog spa from your nearby Bullfrog Spas factory store. And get a free water care system upgrade at the Bullfrog Spas Memorial Day sale.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
Good morning. I'm the 25% off window company.
25% off?
It's our biggest discount ever.
So what happened to the 40% off you were offering a couple months ago?
Well,
nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
The Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered
The Baloney Zone.
Resist the force of the Baloney Zone.
Call today.
281-8111.
Window World. Simply the best for less. And that's no baloney.
I'm Jason Walton, the only Republican political outsider running for the United States Senate. Are you tired of paying more but getting less? Food, gas, interest rates, they've all gone up. Sending more career politicians to Washington is not the solution. They're the problem. They're addicted to spending money we don't have on things we don't need. They're causing inflation as the federal debt goes up and the value of our money goes down. My opponents are big spending career politicians. Trent Staggs, 11 years politicking. Brad Wilson, 14 years. And John Curtis, as a Democrat, began 24 years ago. I'll stop runaway inflation by forcing politicians to spend only what we give them by passing a balanced budget amendment within 2 terms, or I won't run for re-election. If the other candidates won't make you that promise, then they care more about their careers than about our country. I'm Jason Walton, a candidate for the United States Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Friends of Jason Walton for Senate.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
It's time for Rush Hour Rivals. In one corner is a helmet-donning bicyclist. In the other corner is a seatbelt-wearing driver. Can the driver keep a 3-foot distance on the road? Can the cyclist ride in the bike lane and wear reflective gear? Who will win?
I'm fine to ride in the bike lane and wear reflective gear.
Yeah, and I can easily keep a 3-foot distance.
So, not rivals at all?
Nah.
Meet in the middle so your paths don't. A message from the Utah Department of Public Safety.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, the cost of utilities could be going up in Logan. The City Council is considering increasing rates 2% and a per-meter service charge of up to $1.50 each month. Second, Park City's tourism leaders are saying they're expecting a decrease of reservations throughout the summer. And third, if you're heading to Zion National Park this weekend, don't drink stream water. Rangers are monitoring a toxic algae bloom in the Virgin River. Right now it's 53 degrees in Salt Lake. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
David Dujanovic.
For this massive settlement with the NCAA, and looks like college athletes are going to be paid like they're an employee, is a huge change in how we've done things for decades, where they get scholarships but they don't get a paycheck. We're going to take your live phone calls. 801-575-TALK. You weigh in on this. It's really a huge change in how they're going to do things. They've settled with the athletes, and will even pay back pay for some of them. Tell me why this ended up in lawsuits to begin with.
Well, for so long, the athletes have felt wronged. So, and you can look back through the generations, and we have some of the biggest college athletes of all time, whether it's Jim McMahon, Steve Young, Jimmer Fredette. And these guys, for their hard work and their fame and the notoriety they've brought to their teams, what do they get? Some scholarship, money.
When they're
That's
playing
it.
at the college level.
Yeah, that's it. They don't get paid. They haven't been paid historically, and that has started to change over the years, where we're allowing players to make some money. But largely for over 100 years, it was, hey, we gave you a college degree. We got you a degree, and just be grateful for that. While they were generating millions and now billions of dollars nationwide, they've only gotten,
they're generating the money, but the schools are all but keeping the money for
the NCAA
for
yes.
generations to improve other programs. Yet these are the athletes that are going out on the court, on the field, on the mats,
sacrificing their bodies, their time,
getting
their effort.
ticket sales up, getting jersey sales up.
They've never reaped the benefits of their fame and notoriety.
And they didn't get a paycheck.
No.
They got a scholarship. And now this massive decision, multi-billion-dollar settlement with the NCAA, I think it still has to be approved from the athletes' side of things. But this is going to open up, as Michelle Bodkin just told us moments ago with KSL Sports when she called in. She's like, this is opening up a whole can of worms, because who gets paid? How much do they get paid? Will all athletes be treated equally when it comes to pay? And will they get pay in addition to scholarships, or is it an either or? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, this is intended to pay the athlete directly in addition to the scholarships.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the NIL deals that is coming from, the third-party companies.
Like Nike and McDonald's, if they want to sign the athletes to, put their logo on a T-shirt or something like that. So it's in addition to.
Yeah, in addition to. It is a complicated mess, and the revenue streams and how athletes are going to be paid are coming from a million different places. It is very complicated. What do you think, Brandon in Lehigh? What do you think, Brandon?
Hi, I think to your point, there has to be something that speaks to the inequality there is in advertising these sports. Most of the time when you're talking about these high-performing athletes, we're talking about sports that draw in crowds like football and basketball. I personally have a student athlete that goes to an NCAA D3 school for women's wrestling. And that doesn't draw in the same types of crowds. So she wouldn't be allowed to get paid for her sport, but she still is a high-performing athlete, putting in the same amount of hours for performance and carrying that course load. She doesn't even get sports scholarships, because for her, NCAA at D3, you can only get your academic scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So to get paid, so to speak, for her athletic performance, they have to kind of work that into her academics instead of the sports. And so if there was some equality in terms of how we're advertising for those sports to draw in the crowds, I could see where that would be feasible, but it's not like an equal playing field that way.
That's a great point, and I don't see that changing because, honestly, football and basketball are the only revenue generators. Now, the University of Utah is unique with their gymnastics program. They bring in some money. Caitlin Clark certainly brought in money for Iowa, so women's college basketball is starting to generate some money. But largely, there's just a handful of programs that make really, really good money. So I'm concerned about these smaller schools and these athletes that think this is going to be a big windfall. They might not be making as much money as you think they are.
Dave and I talking about an NCAA settlement that we got wind of this morning, a massive settlement that would actually result in athletes play college, likely right now in Utah, the University of Utah and BYU, getting a paycheck, getting paid like they're a school employee. And this opens up the issue of, do they get benefits? So do they get health care benefits? Do they get a 401k benefit? How much do they get paid? Are they able to negotiate that salary? Like if the school offers them $10,000 a year to play, can they come back and say, no, I want $1.2 million a year? And where's the limit on that?
Yeah, how much negotiation is going to be?
This is huge.
Yeah, it's going to be such a change, and it's so convoluted and so complicated because you've got so many different funding and revenue sources. You've got television deals. You've got ticket sales and sponsorships. all of this money is coming from a million different ways. It is going to be an absolute nightmare. It is complicated, and anytime things are complicated, there's a degree of corruption that can occur, and that's where I think the athletes have been complaining the most, saying, we don't know where any of this money has gone. It should at least come to us, a portion of it, and their new revenue sharing model that they have here says that of all the revenue, the athletes get 22% of it. So if it's $100 million, they get 22 million of it.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Tammy Kikuchi. Our top story this hour, disabled Utahns are invited to recommend how to make Salt Lake City's downtown Main Street design more accessible. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit reports.
A recent report laid down what a pedestrian-centered redesign of Main Street would look like, and true to form, it'll be in line with federal ADA standards. However, these often overlook specific needs, such as sensory accommodation areas or adult changing stations for people with spinal cord injuries. But City ADA Coordinator Ashley Lickley says this does not need to be the case.
We have the basics just already in this report, so how can we move forward with an inclusive design?
She says anyone with a disability can contact Salt Lake's Office of Economic Development to offer her suggestions. Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Our top story this hour from ABC News. Colorado Governor Jared Polis is set to sign 2 bills that will overhaul the state's oversight of the funeral home industry. The bills follow a series of gruesome discoveries in Colorado, including 190 decomposing bodies in a funeral home. Families were sent fake ashes, and there was sale of body parts. The cases rocked hundreds of grieving families. Your money at this moment, all the markets are up. Dow up 97, S&P up 36, and the NASDAQ at 174 points up. Short look at the weather and traffic. It's easy because they're both clear today. We'll have that details next. KSL News Time is 10:01.
You know what's great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Common Spirit Health has expert orthopedic care that gets you back at it and back to your best. Find skilled orthopedic physicians at Common Spirit locations who specialize in general orthopedics and repair of hips, knees, shoulders, and hands, so you can return to running races or chasing the grandkids. Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Orthopedic care with human kindness is here. Visit mountain.commonspirit.org.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hello, this is Congresswoman Celeste Malloy. I'm running for re-election to defend Utah's conservative values in Washington, D.C. Like you, I'm tired of government that spends too much, listens too little, and makes all of our lives harder. In Washington, I'm pushing for better ideas to keep the federal government involvement in our lives to a minimum. Let's keep the government in its proper lane. Keep me in Washington so I can keep fighting for you, because we are just getting started.
Paid for by Celeste for Congress.
Hey, one of the things I love about Salt Lake City fat loss, folks, is that, you know what? It's something I could follow. I could stay motivated because the results were so incredible. Now, many people will lose 20 to 30 pounds in the first month or two. I lost 57 pounds in just 2 months. So those were incredible numbers. I did not expect it, even better than my wildest imagination, and I feel great. They did it without surgery and without injections. Those were two things that I wanted to avoid in my weight loss, so I just did it with their program. They held my hand and walked me through the entire thing. If you're interested, if you want to try it, the results vary, right? Everybody gets something different. I had incredible results. But go ahead, let them explain to you what you can expect with a free consultation at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. GoPave Utah is a full-service parking lot paving, repair, and maintenance company servicing the Wasatch Front. Contact GoPave Utah today. GoPaveUtah.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. Here's Heather Kelly.
We're starting to see some slowdowns southbound I-15 leaving Clearfield heading into Layton. We may have a crash in that area, but it hasn't been called out yet on the scanners. We did have delays northbound approaching the Roy area. That was due to a crash, but they quickly got it cleaned out of traffic, so no problems there. And traffic is definitely getting much busier on all the city streets across the Wasatch Front as well as the freeways. UDOT traffic alert, plan ahead for heavier traffic this weekend for Memorial Day. To minimize delays, work will be suspended on UDOT projects, but some restrictions will remain in place to ensure safety. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We start with sunshine today, but clouds will thicken up in the afternoon with a slight chance for light showers. Scattered thunderstorms are likely Saturday. Temps will be in the upper 60s. But high pressure takes over for the rest of the weekend. Highs Sunday in the 70s and Monday in the 80s. Right now, in downtown Salt Lake City, what is it? It's 50 something degree. 50. What is it? It is 54 degrees in Salt Lake City under clear skies. I'm Tammy Kikuchi from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
New year, new KSL movie show. Now you can listen when you're running errands at lunch. This is Andy Farnsworth, and I'm joined by Steve Sales for all the week's biggest movies and shows, 11 to 1 on KSL News Radio.
It's finally Friday, and this is Dave and Dujanovic. Conversation and insights on the stories Utahns care about most. It's Friday on KSL News Radio.
I'm laughing because this is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous what we're about to talk about. The new numbers that are out for housing prices project that by 2030, the average home in Utah will cost $1.1 million.
Stop.
It's horrible.
In 6 years?
It's horrible. I might as well just say $1.1 billion. Yeah. Your house payment at that price tag would be $6,000 a month.
I just fell out of my chair. Like that is such an obscene number. By 2030, this isn't like 2050 after decades of inflation.
Even then, I'll live in a tent in the West Desert. Honestly.
You might have to.
It's just so ridiculous.
That might be option number 2.
My kids will never be able to afford that. If they don't have a home in the next 2 months, and they can't, it's just so unaffordable now, they'll never be able to afford that. $1.1 million. So actually, shout out to Cache Valley Daily up in Logan. This is the story we grabbed from them, cachevalleydaily.com. I'd love to give a shout out to all of our newspapers and, media outlets along the Wasatch Front and beyond, and Cache Valley put this one together. So 1.1 million by 2030. It's a nationwide study. It's done by Smart Survey, and they aren't new to this. They've been doing these predictions since 2012, so they've been doing it for about a dozen years, and they put Utah at 1.1 million. Let me compare this for you, Dave. The the average home price in Hawaii will be $1.4 million. And in California, it'll be $1.2 million. So congrats, Utah. You are the next California.
Because that's what everybody in the world says is, you know what, if all the places I want to live, Hawaii's number one, then it's California, then Utah, obviously. Because that's what these prices are telling us.
Did you ever think you'd see this price in Utah?
No.
These prices?
No. For an average home?
Right now it's
$1
over
million?
Yeah, right now it's over $500,000. And that's, like we always joke, but it's literally the avocado green toilet, the roof that hasn't been replaced in 20 years. I mean, that's what $500,000 buys you now, unless you're buying a townhome. So I never thought, look, I'm just going to walk you back. In 1991, when I should have bought a house, I was too scared because I was just little back then. I was 23. I was just a child. I went looking at homes, 23, 24 years old. Went looking at homes, and I found a house in Sandy. It wasn't terribly big, but it wasn't maybe 2,000 square feet, which would have been a lot for a single gal. Would have been a lot. It was right about $50,000. You know what I thought that was? I thought that was expensive. That was expensive. And I never saw this coming, that these housing prices would get so out of control. By the time I bought a townhome, I bought a condo a couple of years later, but by the time I got married and we bought our first home together, it was $150,000, $157,000 to be exact, in Cottonwood Heights. I never thought I would see a day when a home like the first one we bought would sell for over $400,000 or $500,000. That's what these things are selling for now. That's what they're selling for now. And that's not even now. That's a couple years ago. Not in a million years did I think the average price of a home in Utah would rival that of what homes are selling for in California at $1.1 million. But that is just a few short years away.
Now, if you're a homeowner, this is incredible information. If you're a first-time home buyer, it's a nightmare. Now, when I look at that $1 million home in just 6 years, you think, oh, there's no way it's going to double in just 6 years. Well, if you go back to 2018, it's just about doubled. What you could buy a home for back in 2018, this is obviously pre-pandemic, pre-massive inflation, you could get a home for $280,000 to $310,000. That was the average cost of a home back in 2018. So we have seen this kind of growth before in the last 6 years. So what this report tells me, Debbie, is they anticipate the same growth over that 6-year period as we have seen in the last 6 years. That gives me a little hope because those were historic increases. The past 6 years were historic. So this to me says it's the worst case scenario.
So there is something that might throw a wrench in this.
Okay.
Because we obviously have a supply and demand issue. We have way more demand than there is supply. Well, we know that Governor Cox has been pushing for, 35,000 starter homes to be built by 2030. That could, if that happens, if we're able to make that happen, that's a game changer because it'll infuse the market with tons of housing options, and we know that more supply will potentially drive down the cost. Now, the other thing that might throw a wrench in that is we have a lot of people moving here. Y'all stop posting your photos of Utah on Instagram, please. Just tell people there's no more room here. Talk about the awful things about living in Utah. Stop posting the waterfall photos and the great pictures from boating, your boating experiences.
There's two things, though, that we need if you're talking about massive development. We need developers that are willing to build those smaller homes.
Yeah.
Like right now we're talking about a 1,500 square foot home as a smaller home. Well, what about an 800 or 1,000 square foot home? Those were being built back in the 40s and the 50s. You could find an 1,100 or an 800 square foot home, single family dwelling. You also need city planners in cities to buy into this smaller footprint kind of housing instead of saying, oh, you know what? Let's build a 5,000 square foot home on big lots.
Multi-family housing, townhomes, condos. The NIMBYism that goes on all over the Wasatch Front has got to be dealt with, because you hear it a lot. Not in my backyard. I have my home. I don't want anybody else to build behind me. Those days are gone. Those days are. You're going to have to move to Montana if you want that. If you want a lot of open space around you, you're going to have to find another place to live in, or live way, 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 off the Wasatch Front in some remote counties. I don't know. Daggett County might be an option for you.
Well, and we saw some of those more remote areas in Utah where you could buy an average house for under $200,000.
Yeah. But we're going to have to get rid of the NIMBY attitude, and that's not going to be easy to do. Lots of people take to microphones at public hearings and complain about growth. They don't want it in their backyard. They're worried about, crime going up, and it's all, we don't have enough roads. That's all things that are reasonable concerns. The thing is that you can't continue to create roadblocks to development, because your kids will never be able to afford a $1.1 million home. Incomes will not increase, not double. More than double. You'll be underwater financially in a home for decades. Straight ahead, more and more Americans feel like a college degree is not worth it. Not worth it. Dave's going to break down the math next to tell if that's true.
Finally, Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic. One day a year is not enough.
Hi, I'm First Lieutenant Morgan Davis from Layton, Utah.
One long weekend is insufficient.
Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Billy Green from Salt Lake City. I'm with the 143rd.
Hi, I'm Private First Class Gomez. To the rest of the family back in Orem, I love you guys. I'm doing this for you.
This Memorial Day and every day, we thank our military. We're grateful for their families. We honor those who are fallen and those who are left behind at KSL News Radio.
A slow network is no network for business. That's why more choose Comcast Business. And now we're introducing Ultimate Speed for Business, our fastest plans yet. We're up to 12 times faster than Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. And existing customers could even get up to triple the speeds at no additional cost. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability and advanced cybersecurity. It's Ultimate Speed from Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Don't miss out on our fastest speed plans yet. Get started with internet and security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, ask how to get up to an $800 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call 1-800-501-6000 or go to ComcastBusiness.com to switch today. In 62324, restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabits per second internet and security edge. Eco-bill and auto-pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares Comcast Business 1.25 gig to 100 megabits per second of Verizon 5G Business, AT&T Wireless Broadband, and T-Mobile for Business. Up to 3 times download for existing essential and standard internet customers.
Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, the movie show guys. Our show gets underway in about 45 minutes, but we are going to be broadcasting live today from NPS, a nice place to save. We'll be at the 1600 South Empire Road location. You can hear the carts in the background because shoppers have already filed in to make...
you missed the opening of the doors. That's a celebration.
The stampede in to see our friend Igor and all the great deals that you guys have. Igor, Memorial Day weekend, I know that NPS is going to have some awesome sales.
Yes, we have, in addition to all the sales that we have in the store, for the KSL movie show today, we have all selected 59-ounce refrigerated fruit punch and berry punch, 2 for $1.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect thing for the Memorial Day barbecue.
Yes. And we have a whole bunch of deals that we're going to talk during the show.
Oh, we're sure excited about those. And the great thing about NPS, if you've never been to NPS, first of all, you haven't listened to the movie show then, because we have told you about NPS and we have raved about NPS to you.
Yeah, we've heard back from people like, stop talking about NPS because you're ruining it.
Yes, this was my exclusive shopping experience, and now other people are buying things that I could get.
And look at this store.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You have done an amazing job here, Igor.
Yes.
Everything is beautifully set up. It's just gorgeous.
We're remodeling, yes. And one thing that we want to tell all the customers is, do not worry. We have so much inventory, and that's why we open Orem and Layton. So do not get discouraged. Keep coming. Keep saving.
Yes, but you can still be jealous that other people are getting a deal that you were too slow. Because guess what? That's one of the great things about NPS. The great and frustrating things is, if you see something and you're like, nah, I'll get it next time.
There's no next time.
You snooze, you lose, and that's the thing at NPS, because they've got deals 30 to 70% off retail on brand new items in their retail section, and then great deals on all kinds of groceries. So before you go Memorial Day shopping for your groceries somewhere else, come to NPS first at one of their 3 locations in Layton at 1150 North Main, Salt Lake at 1600 South Empire Road, and Orem at 475 North State.
Good morning. I'm the 25% off window company.
25% off?
It's our biggest discount ever.
So what happened to the 40% off you were offering a couple months ago?
Well,
nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
The Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered the baloney zone.
Resist the force of the baloney zone.
Call today.
281-8111.
Window World. Simply the best for less. And that's no baloney.
Paid for by the Lyman for Utah Committee.
In recent years, we've seen the legislature cut the income tax rate marginally, yet income tax revenue continues to climb dramatically. If we really want to help people, we could cut the income tax rate more dramatically, cut it in half, cut it by 80%, and still pay the bills if we would optimize, minimize, privatize state services. As your governor, that's what I'm committed to do. I'm Phil Lyman, and I'm running for governor.
Phil Lyman for governor.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house, whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed. Call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tabby Kikuchi. First, a local group is gathering donations to send to Brazil for those affected by flooding. Second, a Memorial Weekend tradition won't have the same hot dog eating champion. And third, clouds and rain tomorrow, but sunny for the rest of the holiday weekend. Right now, 54 degrees in Downtown City. Back to Dave Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
We caught this article in the Desert News. It's questioning whether college is worth it, and they really did a great job laying out the pros and the cons at college. But this new Pew research, Dave, is just absolutely staggering to me. A third of U.S. adults who are surveyed said that the cost of college is not worth it if someone has to take out loans. It's not worth it. A third don't think it's worth it.
And the thing you have to take into account, and so often this is the harsh reality conversation that we're not having with our kids, is number one, most four-year degree graduates, they do not get it in 4 years. Like, we have to be very, very clear about that. On average, it takes 5.5 or 6 years to get your college degree, your 4-year baccalaureate degree. So right now, if you say most kids are graduating right now, right? Like, most people have already gone through, they walked, my son walked yesterday, and he's 18 years old. If he were to start this very next semester, he's still looking at 24 years old before he gets his degree on average. That's how old you're going to be. So you have to take into account the fact that you just spent 5.5 or 6 years getting a degree. The cost of those 5.5 or 6 years with tuition and fees, the lost opportunity, the cost opportunity that is lost, saying, had you just jumped into a career and started making money, that's another component to it. And as you look at this Pew research, and you start seeing that a third of people say it's not worth it. And this is not just, I can hear the argument. This is extremely or very important. That's more than a third of people say it is neither extremely nor very important.
Well, if you have to take out a student loan to go to college, but a quarter of Americans feel like it. Only a quarter say it's extremely or very important to have a 4-year college degree. This is a whole mindset shift. When I was going to college, it was the most important thing you could do. In this probably the late 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the noughts, you were expected to go to college. In fact, many employers would not even look at your resume unless you had a 4-year, not a 2-year at a community college, not a certification you got in high school, but you had to have a 4-year degree, or the eyeballs in HR would kick you right out of the system. Now it's computers that kick you right out of the system. And I have to ask myself, I'm having some honest conversation. My kids are, through with college. I got, one that's trying to get into medical school right now, and one that actually just went back to college. So I think we're a college family. We all got degrees. My ex-husband has 2 master's degrees. He went back to school when we were married. That was worth it. I think it was really worth it. And I have my degree. $62,000 a year is the average or median income for a college graduate in Utah. $42,000 is the low, and the high, it's going to be higher than that. But so let's say $62,000 a year. I think that might be a little pie in the sky, but let's say it's $55,000 a year out of college, and you have $100,000 in student loan debt because you had to muscle your way through by paying for yourself. That would feel overwhelming to me.
How do you pay that back?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's the math problem. If we're talking about higher education, this is the math problem we need to figure out. So one of the problems I have, and when you look at college degrees, I am in no way arguing that if you are talking about some of the elite jobs in America, if you want to be a doctor or a high-end lawyer, you have to go to Harvard. You have to go to Wharton Business School. If you want to be a high earner, I can see where you have to be not just a college graduate, but probably a high-end college graduate at a nice, prestigious school. But the problem is we're churning out 4-year degrees, and kids are making $45,000 a year, or they're making $55,000 a year. If you take off the top-end earners, then these numbers, this median income earner, the average income earner, it's not great. And there's too many jobs that just don't justify taking 6 years to get a degree.
David and I, looking at a news article in the Deseret News, Pew Research Center did a study of 5,200 adults across the United States, and a third of them has said college degree is not worth it if you have to go into debt for it. And only 25% of Americans say a college degree is extremely or very important to get a well-paying job in today's economy. I'm starting to think that's true because people who are, posting videos on social media and using YouTube as a career base are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Maybe you do need a college degree in marketing to reach that threshold.
You do not. Yeah. I mean, so many influencers are just kind of trial and error, and they figured things out. Mr. Beast, who is the biggest YouTuber on the planet, makes millions and tens of, probably hundreds of millions of dollars. He started off just playing Call of Duty and posting that online. And then he learned and changed and found just the right way to do it. It was all trial and error.
So in the Deseret News article, Dave, I'm reading something, people who work in higher ed are now they're in the hot seat to defend the benefits of getting a college degree. And they said there's post-secondary education remains strongly correlated with increased job security, lifetime earnings, civic engagement, and personal health and happiness. Would you agree with that?
I would say yes in years past. Right now, my reaction is, okay, prove it. Show me that that's the case, because I think too many of us have had the experience of spending money on education, having it not pay off in the end.
Well, I think part of that, what has to be addressed here is the rising cost of tuition, like the rising cost of everything. But the tuition has been going up and up and up, and it's just unaffordable for, when I went to school 100 years ago, it was like hundreds of dollars in a semester, not thousands of dollars. And we're not just talking a few $1,000s. We're talking like $8,000 to $10,000 in some cases. And as you said, this is no longer really a 4-year degree, although we continue to call it a 4-year degree. We're just fooling ourselves. It's taking 5 and 6 years. And the reason I think it's taking so long is because students are having to work to afford tuition. And so they're worn out. They can't time-wise, they can't do more than 3 or 4 classes a semester, And when I was in school, you were taking full load every time. You're taking 5 classes. Sometimes I take 6 classes. It was just much more of a reasonable proposition in the past than it is these days.
One thing higher ed is doing to combat this, they are now offering bachelor's degrees in 3 years by getting rid of all the electives that you can take at school, which narrows it down, it slims it up, and I think that's a great step forward.
Okay, we'll talk more about that straight ahead. The 3-year degree, and also I've got a list of companies that have said, you know what, we're ditching degree requirements. They're major companies, and I've got a list of 8 of them. Next.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tammy Kikuchi. KSL's top local story this hour. A pair of Utah women are gathering supplies for the areas of Brazil affected by flooding. Angela Cooley and Margaret Barros are originally from Brazil, but now call Utah home. The two told KSL TV some of their friends in the country lost everything, and they could not bear to stand by and watch it happen. The devastation in the hardest hit areas is being compared to Hurricane Katrina. For more information on how to help, visit kslnewsradio.com. Competitive eating legend Takeru Kobayashi is retiring for health concerns.
Kobayashi now goes to 52.
The 6-time Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest champion says his body just can't do it anymore. He appeared in a Netflix special where he said his 2 decades of competing and overeating for sport have left his gut and digestive system wrecked. He has little to no appetite, no sensation of fullness, and can go days without eating. He says he wants to focus on living a long, healthy life, retraining his nervous system and brain, hopefully being able to enjoy food again. Kobayashi says he has eaten 10,000 hot dogs since the beginning of his career. But he ate more than just hot dogs. He competed in eating competitions for pizza, hamburgers, sushi, and more. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment. The Dow, all the markets are up. The Dow is at up 102 points, the S&P 500 up 39, and the NASDAQ is up 186. Coming up, you might need an umbrella and some sunscreen this weekend. We'll have a look at traffic next. KSL News Time is 10:32.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy you happiness. But money did help you buy an RV, which means an excuse from working Saturday with your insufferable coworker, Dave. So money is helping you listen to birds chirp instead of Dave chirping about how his toddler is fluent in 3 languages. And it's also why you'll be smelling pine trees in the air, not Dave's tuna melt reheating in a microwave. So save money by bundling your RV or boat insurance with home or auto from Progressive and buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
That one in this one. The movie show guys, Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales live at NPS. We're at the Salt Lake location at 1600 South Empire Road. The doors are open. People are shopping. Come by and say hi to the guys at the movie show as we talk about the big Memorial Day weekend movies, the big movie going. But, hey, Memorial Day weekend, a good time to have a barbecue. And if you're going to do that or have a get-together, come hit NPS first. That's what I say, Julie.
Yes,
What do you say, Julie?
What do you say, Julie?
I said, come on down.
Please.
But the other thing, and I wanted to ask both you and Igor about this, it's summer. Like, this is officially summer now. I mean, I know the actual calendar date's June 21st, but summer starts Memorial Day weekend.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Even though it's like 50 degrees outside. What kind of summer deals can people get at NPS?
Okay, right now, if you come for your barbecue on Monday, we have watermelons, $1.99 each, regardless of the size.
Oh.
And they're sweet. We're sampling them. They are sweet like honey. They're delicious. And we have strawberries, 99 cents a pound.
You're going to make me walk out of here with another flat of strawberries, Igor.
And at least 4 watermelons.
Well, I'm allergic to watermelon, so at least that one I'm safe on.
You're allergic
I get to
watermelons.
watch people enjoy these huge, delicious watermelons at summer barbecues, and I just have to be like, oh, that looks nice.
Who told you you were allergic to watermelon?
I've never heard of that.
They probably did.
Melon. It's not just watermelon. It's like honeydew and cantaloupe.
Oh, really?
It's
Yeah.
got melon in the title. Just change the name.
Oh, in that case, my body won't know the difference. But still, strawberries for 99 cents a pound.
Yes, and we have bananas, 50 cents a pound. You know,
Bananas.
Steve loves
Oh, I
bananas.
love it when you say banana.
Oh, man. My smoothies will taste so good this weekend.
And then we're going to talk about other sales, but I want to let you know that the Garden Center is 15% off today. Anything that you want to buy.
They have great stuff.
And it's really nice. I got a lot of things there, and they're beautiful. They're high-quality flowers.
All of our
and
Greenhouse
plants.
Show listeners, come here to NPS.
It's a good place.
15% off the Garden Center at 1600 South Empire Road. We got so many more good things to tell you about what's going on at NPS this weekend and all the time. They'll be talking about when the movie show kicks off in about a half hour.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Dino Day. Celebrate on June 1st at all Sinclair locations. Here is Heather Kelly.
Well, traffic is at a crawl right now. Southbound I-15 as you leave Roy, head through Clearfield, almost into the Layton area. This is due to an earlier crash involving a couple of semis right at the Antelope Drive exit in Layton. Now, they've moved it off the freeway, but they had to stop all lanes of traffic for a few minutes to do that. So that's why you have the backups almost into the Roy area. And that's taking about 5 to 10 extra minutes to get through if you're heading toward downtown Salt Lake City. Otherwise, everybody else is still moving at freeway speeds, but we're starting to see a lot more traffic on the roadways, especially heading out of the Salt Lake Valley. S&S Roofing is your trusted source for quality and affordability. They have been the top roofing company in Utah for over 40 years. Schedule an estimate now. Get a free quote at snsroofinginc.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, we start with sunshine today, but clouds in the afternoon and a slight chance for a light shower. And scattered thunderstorms are likely Saturday with highs in the upper 60s. On Sunday, the highs will be in the 70s. Monday in the 80s. Right now, it is 58 degrees and sunny in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Tammy Kikuchi from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
We're just getting word that an American who was being held in Turks and Caicos had gone on a Caribbean vacation with his family and accidentally had 20 rounds of ammunition in his luggage. He has just been released. Why this is such a big deal is because there are 4 other Americans being held for much of the same reasons. Ammunition found in their vacation bags and their travel bags have been held there for, in some cases, several months because Turks and Caicos, which is a dream vacation spot for so many Americans, has really strict gun laws. And they got snagged at the airports and on cruises, and they've been held, there on the island since their arrests.
And when you say really strict gun laws, it is so incredibly punitive. There is a minimum prison sentence if you are caught with ammunition or a firearm. 12 years.
So this is rare. This has been a very, very scary ride for a number of Americans. This gentleman who was just released, his name is Brian Hagerich. He's one of 5 who we focused on this week here on the Dave and Dujanovic show. They're arrested, taken into custody, facing criminal charges, massive fines. As you said, Dave, 12 years in prison. Because they accidentally carried ammunition. All of them said it was by accident. Some people have asked why. How can you make that kind of mistake? But look, some of them have said, I'm a hunter. This was ammo. It was left over from a previous hunting trip. We've got a mom from Florida who's stuck over there. She's been, thrust into this situation as well. She was on her way back. It was on Mother's Day with her daughter from a family vacation in Turks and Caicos, and during a routine search at the airport, she got caught with a couple of bullets in her bag. In this case, Brian Hagerich is from, Dave, where is he from? Do you have that information? I think he's from the Pennsylvania area.
Yeah, I think he's from Pennsylvania. Now, they didn't just release him. He had to pay a fine.
Go ahead.
About $6,500, $6,700.
Okay. But so he pays a fine. He gets a suspended jail sentence of 52 weeks. So what that means is the judge ordered him to 52 weeks in jail. Probably some of that's already been served because he's probably been sitting behind bars. A lot of them have posted bail, which cost them $15,000. Another one who's being held said this has been $100,000 in attorney's fees. So this dream vacation has turned into a freedom and financial nightmare for them. So they release him. He's on his way back to the United States. This is huge. So it goes from a 12-year potential prison sentence to 52 weeks, but the judge suspended 12 months of that. So basically it's a wash. He's done. He's on his way home. It's a lot better than what he was looking at.
One of the things that I was most concerned about is whether or not Americans were being targeted by Turks and Caicos. This crackdown of the rich American and, suck them for all their money type of thing. Because when you said it costs $100,000 in lawyers' fees, I started thinking, okay, maybe this is a targeting of Americans. Well, according to Turks and Caicos, in the last 6 years, they've had 195 ammunition, firearm-related arrests. Only 7 of those have been Americans, and it looks like 5 of those have happened in just the last several months.
Now, so we've just had the release of one of those who've been arrested. That means there are 4 others who are still there. And Tyler Wenrich, he had a hearing just a couple of days ago where he pled guilty to a couple of charges, but he's awaiting sentencing. And here's what he told NBC.
I have a lot of fear and anxiety as to what's going to happen, and I'm hoping that the judge finds some compassion and leniency in the situation that I'm in.
All right, so we have compassion and leniency right now based on the release of this one American who's now heading back to the United States. So I think this is really quite hopeful for the rest of the Americans who are being held over there. I will say this, let this be a lesson to all of us that when we leave American soil and we go to another country, I don't care how sandy the beaches are and how amazing the frozen coconut drinks are with those cute little umbrellas, they take their laws seriously. There are different laws in every single country, and you've got to know before you go. We gave out a great resource the other day on the air, which is like, I don't even know about this, but you have to check it. And the State Department, they flag warnings from all over the world for tourists, and they put it on their website. It's like travel advisories, and you just Google it for the State Department. And one warning after the other will come up. And in Turks and Caicos, they say, do not carry ammunition, do not carry guns, check your luggage before you go over there. because as we also learned, the TSA here in this country will not be checking your checked bags, okay? They're going to check your duffel bags that you put through the conveyor belt when you're going through security, but they're not checking your checked bags. So if you have a couple of bullets left over from a hunting trip, you can be in real trouble if you get to some of these countries and you're not aware of their laws.
And also, we know that one of these Americans hit Turks and Caicos on a cruise ship.
Yep.
And cruise ship TSA type stuff that, there's not the same level of examinations. So to your point, Debbie, you have to know what you're getting into, which is difficult because we're not experts in foreign law. And sure, this seems kind of obvious, a gun and ammunition, but do you know what their laws are when it comes to drinking and drugs and
running around
DUI,
the street drunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities. You just have to know, okay, if I'm traveling to this place and I'm going to party a certain way, make sure you understand what the rules and the laws are. I think of Brittany Griner, the WNBA star that went over and played in Russia, and she had some weed essentially in her bag, and she was thrown into prison. Again, something that would be a nothing burger here in America, totally different when you go to a foreign country.
It's finally Friday.
Why do I keep feeling like we've been this way before?
With Dave and Dujanovic.
Why do I keep feeling like a soldier in a holy war that I never signed up for?
Troy, of all the holiday camping weekends on the calendar, which one is perfect? And why is the only answer Memorial Day?
Hard to argue. Memorial Day kicks off camping season.
In grilling season.
School's almost out.
Weather's better.
And we've had all winter to think about RV camping.
Exactly. We're all itching to get hitching.
That's why Bish's RV is ready to take the perfect camping holiday weekend and turn it into the perfect camping season.
Oh yeah. We're giving you huge Memorial deals across the nation.
Shop a huge selection of new and used RVs with low pricing that already includes dealer's fees. Start shopping now at Bish's.com.
Find payments starting under $149 per month on approved credit.
Clearance pricing on all remaining new 2023s in stock.
90 days of all play, no pay OAC.
Plus, get a free 1-year Bish Fix membership with every RV purchase. Your fast track to RV service repairs.
We're even open on Memorial Day from 9 to 5.
The sale is happening now. Only at Bish's RV in Salt Lake and American Fork, where memories begin.
OAC based on 20% down, 8.99% APR for 180 months. Stock number 79226 and 80972. Subject to prior sale. See dealer for details.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth, Steve Sales. We are live at NPS, a nice place to save ahead of Memorial Day weekend. We're at 1600 South Empire Road. Come and see us during the movie show today and take home a bunch of awesome merchandise or groceries at great, huge discounts over what you'd pay for the exact same item, brand new, just like this, at a regular retail store. Instead, come to NPS. Igor, now we're going to save the movie show only deals for when we're in the movie show. Because we want to reserve that for our most faithful listeners. But you've got other deals that we can tell everybody about right now.
Yes. So if you're going to go for a hike, if you're going to spend time with your family in the backyard, we have these selected snack mixes. They retail for $2.99 in any store.
Yeah.
Our price regularly is $1.99, but for today, for the movie show, 99 cents.
Oh, I may have to say, these are carb-friendly ones, too, so that's even better.
Yes.
They look good.
Yeah, and we talked about last week, and you told me, or last time that you guys came, and you stocked up very well, that we have 50% off on all bagged pet food.
Yes, my wife, she's like, oh, I was going to go to the store and get pet food. They had a much better deal on great quality, so she bought it up.
And then for Monday, Julie has an amazing news.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Julie.
For the veterans and the active military.
So you guys will be open Monday?
Open Monday, 9 to 5, all the 4 stores. For them, we're going to do 20% off the entire purchase.
Wow.
For veterans and active military.
Veterans and active, an additional 20% off of everything.
Everything.
At the register.
Yes, we've never done that before. Every day, our military and veterans are 10% discount, but Monday, we want to honor them and do 20%.
And double it. That is so generous.
So-
That is amazing.
Just do the
So-
math. Clothing is 50% off plus your extra 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
you
you,
can
Julie.
go, and that is very generous, Julie. So that'll be Monday at NPS when you guys are open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Memorial Day. Active military and veterans will get a 20% off their entire order.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you,
Yes.
Julie. And NPS.
Is credit card debt weighing you down? Are you losing sleep at night, worrying about how much you owe? Have you ever used one credit card to pay off another credit card, just prolonging the problem? You're not alone. Half of all Americans are dealing with troubling credit card debt. But there is an answer. Zero Debt USA has proven strategies to eliminate that troubling credit card interest and get you out of debt fast. They can often get your monthly payment down to less than half of what you're currently paying. Work with a company that can help. Visit zerodebusa.com. Again, zerodebusa.com.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tammy Kikuchi. First, Park City is expecting fewer summer reservations. Second, Main Street in Salt Lake City is looking for ADA recommendations for the redesign of a promenade. And third, an umbrella and sunscreen will both be needed this weekend. Right now, 58 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
Well, it's the unofficial kickoff to summer. It is Memorial Day weekend, and we hope you all have a great Memorial Day weekend. Whether your plans are to hit the road or to stay home and do a little staycation, a movie is always a great option, Dave.
It's our go-to move. It is absolute. This is how my Memorial Day goes. Is we get up, we have breakfast, at one of the siblings' houses. Throws on the big Memorial Day breakfast, and then we go. We visit the grave sites, and then after that, boom, movie.
That's
like
right.
that is the go-to move, and there's some great movies out there at Memorial Day.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Andy.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
What's the big movie this week? We got any $100 million releases from Hollywood coming out?
Probably not $100 million on the weekend.
No.
But
Memorial is usually kind of a soft
Oh,
weekend.
it is. Okay.
Really?
What
Yeah,
have we got?
everybody goes out in the outdoors and do stuff.
Well, tell that to Star Wars, which always opened around Memorial Day.
Oh, of course you'd know that. Well, we have Furiosa. I mean, that thing is like, can you imagine us living in that time? We wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Those people are crazy.
There's a lot of, it's brutal.
So I'm doing a staycation for the next 3 days. Is there anything at the theater that I can go enjoy a big batch of popcorn and watch?
Well, I ate a huge thing of popcorn yesterday when I watched the Garfield movie, so that's an option, Deb. The animated Garfield movie. So
what else you got?
Those are the two big names this weekend are Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and the Garfield movie. And there are some other stuff coming out that we're going to talk about, including a movie from Angel Studios called Sight, which I actually thought was pretty good. Yeah. But yeah, the big movies this week, and of course you still have If you didn't see If last week.
You told me about that yesterday when we were doing the Give-a-thon together. You reminded me that I hadn't seen it yet, so that might be on my list, Andy.
Well, I don't think you can go wrong. I mean, the Fall Guy's still playing. If you didn't catch the Fall Guy
that's
yet,
hilarious.
That's great.
Yeah, Deb heard bad things about the Fall Guy, so
I did.
even though
From
she
who?
likes Ryan Gosling.
I was listening to another podcast. I'm sorry, I'm cheating on y'all. I was listening to another podcast, and they were not fond of the Fall Guy. They thought it was just a little bit too maybe like 1980s feel.
Well,
And
do you like dystopian futures?
I don't know what that is.
Dystopian futures is like it's set in the future, but like everything's all messed up and everyone's just trying to survive.
It's always all messed up. You ever notice that?
Well, that's why it's dystopian, Steve.
Dystopian? Okay.
But at any rate, that's what. Have you watched any of the other Mad Max movies in the 40-year history that they've been out? Debbie?
No.
Mel Gibson
No,
was
I'm
Mad
trying.
Max originally.
I'm trying,
Beyond
you guys.
Thunderdome with Tina Turner.
Yeah.
There's the classic from the mid-'80s that they never replay on cable or anything. That's the only one in the whole series they never replay is Beyond Thunderdome.
I love that you guys put up with me and my lack of movie knowledge, but I really want to try. It's my kind of one of my summer goals is when it's 105 outside to go hang out in a movie theater. I'm going to do better this year, you guys.
Well, this one's it takes place in the Australian desert, Furiosa. So if it's 100 degrees outside, you can at least look at something that feels like you're outside, but with the air conditioning blowing on you.
There we go. I love it. All right.
And it's very empowering for women. I mean, especially that first 20 minutes. Holy mackerel.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, when you say that, I'm all in. If it's empowering for women, I am all in. So Dave wants to know what the question of the week is, right?
Yes, our question this week is based on, because this is like, Fury Road was about Mad Max, but it also had Charlize Theron's character, Imperator Furiosa, and then this movie's about that character. So we thought the question, what's a secondary character from a movie that you wish could have their own movie?
Oh, okay. So not the headliner.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, but
there's a lot of latitude here.
Can you give me an example of one that, I mean, besides Furiosa, get my mind running. I'm trying to think of.
Well, I mean, I want to save my favorite for the actual movie show, but there's, I'll give you one here. How about Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter?
You want to follow Neville's life?
Yes, no, not his life, but like a movie about something that he did. Maybe what was his perspective while all the Harry Potter, so he could do his own little thing, but every once in a while he intersects with the main story.
How would I know him? What's his thing?
He was the one that was like the plant expert that was their friend that was all chubby at the beginning of the series, and then he grew up and became like a sex symbol for all the Harry Potter fans by the end.
Okay.
He's the one who chops off the snake's head in the final.
What do you think, Dave?
Okay, I've thought about this for a long time because I'm a big fan of the Hunger Games, and I've always wanted to know Haymitch. I want to know Haymitch's history. Like that would be incredible.
That's a good one.
That's a great
I would
suggestion.
watch that all day long.
I did see the Hunger Games, and I also read the series. My daughter made me read the series, and I enjoyed it. I would okay, that's a good one. How about this one, guys?
'Cause I'm just kidding. Anywhere else I'd be is it my destiny to live and die?
I think he needs his own movie.
I will not argue with that because I thought he was the funniest part of the whole thing. That is a great
thought it
suggestion.
was his movie.
Oh,
there it is.
You know what? That's a great point. That's a great point, Steve. We need the side character of Barbie.
He stole that movie.
No, but that's kind of the fun is, it's more fun to suppose, like, ooh, what about this one? And then you start thinking it out, like, would I really care what happens, or were they really just good because they were clever, but if you tried to focus on them for a whole movie, it maybe wouldn't hold up when you really put it. And it's maybe the reason we haven't had some side characters get their own movie, because when they sit down to think about it, it just doesn't. There's just not enough.
They can't carry
Well,
it.
I think in this case, Ken, like you guys said, I mean, he was really an awesome part of the movie, and now he's proven himself that he can be the main character. I would totally go see Ken. I would go see Ken.
That's a great one.
Well, let's get the Hollywood writers on it.
They
I'm
probably
sure
already are.
thinking it.
They probably already are, and just capitalize on the phenomenon that was the Barbie movie.
One example that I thought of, guys, is Joker. Like Joaquin Phoenix. There's a secondary character that had an incredible film. I mean, it was incredibly disturbing, but I thought Joker, that was a great example of a secondary
It was a well-made
character.
movie that I hated.
You know what? That's a great way to describe it.
It was disturbing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little too real. It was like really dark and believable. It was a great, well-made show, but it was too disturbing.
When Joker 2 comes out later this year, I will get on my rant about why Joker should never have his own movie. But we'll save that for later this fall.
Okay, what's your top? I want to say story, but what's your top segment on the movie show, guys?
Well, we're gonna we're going to review Furiosa. That's going to be our big movie
Awesome.
of the week. And there's also a Beach Boys documentary.
Ooh, yeah.
That's really well done. That's on Disney Plus as of today.
All right. Awesome.
So you can watch that one this weekend.
All right. Well, I'll be hanging out. I'll have plenty of time to do it. So thanks so much, Andy, Steve. Have a really great, safe Memorial Day weekend. Their show starts in about a minute and a half from now, just a couple of minutes from now, actually, I think, after news, traffic, and weather. So they will be up next until 1 o'clock this afternoon.
I kind of chuckle. I haven't really been a big fan of the Mad Max stuff, but Chris Hemsworth, you may know, he's going to star in Furiosa as well. Anya Taylor-Joy from the Queen's Gambit. But Chris Hemsworth looks exactly like Thor. So it'll be interesting to see if I can see him as anything other than Thor. And they said he is in Australia, so there you go.
Yeah.
He's in his hometown.
Well, I hope you and your family have a great, safe Memorial Day weekend, Dave, and I will be hanging out rewatching the Barbie movie.
I'm just kidding. Anywhere else I'd be a tame. Is it my destiny to live and die a life of blonde
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock a.m. at KSL News Radio. I'm Tammy Kikuchi, KSL's top story this hour. Park